And from the time that the daily sacrifice shall be taken away, and the abomination that maketh desolate set up, there shall be 1,290 days. Blessed is he that waiteth, and cometh to the 1,305 days.
Has the final countdown till the end of this earth age started? Has humanity entered this time frame of 1,290 days? And will you be broken waiting to reach the end of the 1,135 days? Now that the book Daniel was told to seal up has been unsealed, with Yahuwah's help, hopefully we can perceive and digest this most anticipated time throughout all of history. Before we dive fully into this, I need to explain from the get-go that with scriptural prophecy, some apply a year for a day principle. This term, a year for a day, is used when one looks at scriptural prophecy as a day being symbolic for an actual time frame of a single year. To further explain, let us look in the great book of Daniel at the following verses. Chapter 7 verse 25 and chapter 12 verse 7. We can also look in the great book of Revelation, chapter 11 verse 2 through 3, chapter 12 verse 6 and verse 14, and chapter 13 verse 5. See, we know that a time, times and half time, is 3.5 years, which is 42 months or 1,260 days. These two fascinating books go hand in hand concerning end-time prophecies. The book of Daniel mentions 1,290 days, and 1,335 days, whereas John mentions 1,260 days, a difference of 75 days. With Yahuwah's help, I'll break this down for you during this presentation. Now some scriptural students will reference this time frame for 1,260 years. Some believe this prophecy has been fulfilled with the rise and fall of the Roman papacy from AD 538 to 1798. There are various interpretations to these prophetic timelines. I believe that prophecy can have a double reference to a single message. Like one is meant for two groups of people, separated in time. One is for the time of the writing, the other, some distant future. One can be physical, the other spiritual. One temporary, the other eternal. My video titled, Abomination of Desolation, is a very good example of what I am trying to explain here. If you have not watched this, please do. I explained, prophecy can be likened to an onion that is being pulled back. Each layer will reveal a deeper meaning to the said prophecy. There is not two distinct prophecies, rather a single one that is hidden beneath layers of the same event. We can, however, know, without any doubt, if the final countdown has started by looking at key phrases found in the book of Daniel. Chapter 12, 7 and verse 9.
And I heard the man dressed in linen, who was above the waters of the river, and he held up his right hand, and his left hand to the heavens, and swore by him, who lives forever, that it would be for an appointed time, appointed times, and half a time. And when they have ended scattering the power of the set-apart people, then all these shall be completed. And he said, Daniel, for the words are hidden and sealed till the time of the end. Daniel 12 verse 7 and 9.
Considering verse 7 and 9, there is no feasible way that the rise and fall of the Roman papacy fulfilled the final countdown. Furthermore, this prophecy had not come to full fruition with the siege of Jerusalem in 587 BC, in which Nebuchadnezzar II destroyed the temple. Nor was it fulfilled when Antiochus Epiphanes 167 BC sieged Jerusalem. Same for when Titus Flavius sieged Jerusalem even in 70 AD. All three of these events many have mistaken for the abomination of desolation. These events were a foreshadowing of something far more wicked. None of these events were fully fulfilled. That alone is why we know without any doubt they are not the real deal. Not to mention, when these events occurred, they were not the time of the end. No doubt it was the end as they knew it. Nevertheless, those generations have come and gone, and we are still here. The final countdown does not start until the abomination of desolation occurs, as stated in verse 11. That is when all these things shall be finished, and this would occur at the time of the end, not before. You see, there are many scriptural students that has calculated this time frame by using a day for a year principle.
How interesting to know that he has the world's affairs in his charge, and that the reign of sin and death will soon be overthrown by Messiah's kingdom.
I had a vision from God, and he said, I was frightened and fell upon my face. But he said unto me, understand, O Son of Man, your wisdom belongs to the end of time.
Charles Taze Russell, from the Watchtower Society, founder of the Jehovah Witnesses, William Miller with his group, the Millerites, that became the Seventh-day Adventist, Robert Fleming, Joseph Rutherford, along with preterist group, take the 1,260 days and converted that to years. Daniel chapter 8 is calculated as 2,300 years, whereas Daniel chapter 12 would be 1,290 years and then 1,335 years. All by using the day for year principle. Does not matter if it was in the year 1844, 1874, 1914, 2018 or any other, because all were to be completed at the end of this time frame of 1,290 days. Yet, pay special attention to the one who endures until the 1,335 days. Listen, there is no way this time frame has been completely fulfilled. That is until now. I'm not saying we cannot use a day for a year principle. This method for interpreting prophecy is very scriptural. The 7-day weekly cycle goes much deeper than a simple 7 days. Listen up, the entire creation week is a prophetic timeline of Yahuwah's great plan for humanity, completed in 7,000 years. I'm not going to get into it all here, rather let me just state, he rested from his work on the 7th day and declared the 7th day a Sabbath. A day of rest for us as well. Brothers and sisters, are we not in the 6,000th year? Which on the 6th day is preparation day. A day where we get all our work done, so that we can rest on the 7th day Sabbath, as he commanded. Are we not preparing now, filling our lamps with oil? The trials and tribulation, each of us, have been going through, is all in preparations to make ourselves ready to meet our bridegroom, Yahushua. We are preparing ourselves now, so that we will be taken to the wedding chamber. Then, we will be with Yahushua for an entire millennium, and we will have rest the 7,000th year. Praise be to the Most High Yahuwah. A few examples of a day for a year principle can be found in the book of Genesis, chapter 29, verse 27 through 28. Yaakov had to complete the 7 years, and after he completed that week, him and Rachel were married. Again, we see the same principle can be found in the book of Daniel, chapter 9, starting in verse 24. 70 weeks, or years times 7, equals 490 years. The 1 week using the day-to-year principle is a period of 7 years. This week is believed to be the final last 7 years of this earth age, ending with the Baruch hope of the most anticipated time of all history, the second coming of our bridegroom, Yahushua. The last week, or last 7 years, is also referred to 2,300 days, mentioned in Daniel, chapter 8 verse 14. 2,300 days then shall the sanctuary be cleansed. There is no doubt that this span of time is a literal 2,300 days. As if we jump down to verse 26, we see evening and morning, then he was told to shut up the vision, for it shall be for many days. Evening and morning make a complete yom. That is a single calendar day. And 360 yoms equal 1 prophetic year. Yes, I know scholars and theologians of times past believe this time is 1,500 days. Well, guess what? I don't. Mainly because in verse 19, here again we see that once the clock begins to tick, it shall be at the time appointed to the end. We also know that at the very end of this span of time, the sanctuary will be cleansed. The 2,300 days can be divided into 2 parts of 3.5 years each. The final countdown of the 2,300 days does not start until the time of the desecration of the temple. also referred to as the abomination of desolation, or the abomination that lays waste. This event, my beloved, kicks off the final countdown. Listen up, many before us have longed to see what you are seeing, my beloved. Sadly, numerous people have jumped the gun with one failed prediction after another. Most had good intentions. However, they came up short, leaving many confused. While others totally abandoned the faith, now with some claiming the Jewish Messiah, aka the Antichrist, is here. Oh brother, listen up, I really don't want to get into all this right now, but this man, that guy right there, is just a fall guy. Please go watch, or even read the Imposter series. What we have here, is the old switcheroo, that will lead many to the wrong marriage supper. Most Bible-believing people have been brainwashed that once the Jewish announce the Messiah is here, what follows will be the second coming of Jesus the Christos. My beloved, don't jump the gun on this. The Jews are waiting for two Messiahs. The Moshiach ben David, and Moshiach ben Joseph. The ben Joseph is to prepare for the ben David, whom of which will be a military leader to fight for Israel. In reality, Yahushua fulfills both. When he returns, he will fight for us. Many claim Yenukar, Rav, Shlomo, Yehuda, is the ben David. People are already announcing him as the Antichrist, false Messiah. That he may be, however, people seem to overlook that Antichrist is a spirit that is in lots of people, whereas the son of perdition is just one entity, the Moshiach ben Joseph, or Moshiach ben David. Neither one will pull off the greatest show on earth, which is Satan masquerading as an angel of light, coming in the clouds with a host of demons, all to deceive, if it were possible, even the elect. Of course, this will be done with the help of CERN and Project Bluebeam. I repeat, this right here, is the smokescreen, to dupe you into falling for the greatest show on earth. The second coming of Jesus. Listen up, the SOP is not going to be a man desiring worship, the world has been there. Done that. To the contrary, the SOP wants to be worshipped, as the Most High. Literally, in place of the Most High. Thus where we get, anti from, meaning in place of the real one. The imposter. The counterfeiter. So, stay awake and pay attention. Sorry you all. I did not want to go there. But the beans needed to be spilled on this. Way too many are being bamboozled, and that saddens me. Now let me pick up where I left off at. I repeat, the abomination of desolation is the main event that jumpstarts the final countdown. The miscalculation of setting dates comes with a heavy price. Being shamed, mocked, embarrassed, even called a false prophet. Those false dates caused a lot of distrust, disappointment, grief, and shame. Looking back now, we see they all missed the mark. Nevertheless, we should not let that discourage us. You see, they were off, because the abomination of desolation had not occurred. Therefore, the final countdown had not started. Hear my disclaimer right now, before any naysayers start smacking their lips. I by no means am saying that this is, thus saith Yahuwah. By no means am I declaring myself a self-appointed prophet. On the contrary, I, like many of you, am a sincere student of the Most High. As a watchman, my job has been to blow the ram's horn. This I have been doing for 23 years, to the best of my ability. In the event I am wrong in this presentation, let it be noted here, I first and foremost ask Yahuwah to forgive me. May Yahuwah have mercy on my being. Then I humbly ask each of you to also forgive me. With that said, I am thus reminded Yahushua told us.
But concerning that day, and the hour no one knows, not even the messengers of the heavens, but my Father only. Matthew chapter 24 verse 36.
Notice, he did not say we would not know the season. I strongly believe we are in that season, my beloved. We are living in the most anticipated time throughout all of history. My hope is, after you watch this presentation, you will be full of excitement, casting all fear and worry to the side. We were created for such a time as this. There is no doubt, in my mind, the final countdown has started. Are you ready? Let's do this, you all. Yahushua told us that the end times would be as the days of Noah. We all know that the obvious sign of those days was a general lack of morality. The sins of those degenerated people were violent behavior, a lack of kindness, illicit sexual perversions, debauchery ran amok in the streets. Just an overall downright wicked generation that was. So much so that Yahuwah regretted having even created humans. We are witnessing and living amongst that same filth now. Despite all this, there remains just one thing. One itty-bitty, important factor that embodies and connects our generation with the days of Noah. You see, the powers that be have tried endlessly to erase, to hide, and to confuse the populace on this single vital piece of information. Listen up, Noah was perfect in his generation, my beloved. Yahushua told us that there is none righteous, no, not a single one. Therefore, Noah was perfect in that his chrome was without blemish. This means, he had not been genetically modified. His genome was undamaged. It was without blemish. Created perfect, in the exact copy of its kind. It's that simple. All about those genes, folks. You see, the corruption of the splicing and dicing of the D to the N and to the A was all to corrupt the after its kind. That is the comparison between the days of Noah and these days. Those days, the fallen Nephilim had sex with the daughters of men, as stated in Genesis 6. What was birthed was no longer according to its kind. A new species emerged, a species that was half human, half something else, a hybrid creation, a chimera. If you don't understand this, then you will not understand why Yahuwah, in his great mercy, ordered the destruction of man, woman, and child, thus killing entire nations of these hybrids. They were no longer created after their kind. Do you understand this? Nor were they no longer created in the image of Elohim, but were a new species, in that their genetic makeup had been altered. When the Nephilim took the daughters of men, the result that was birthed is now over. The same result can be achieved by simply cutting the D to the N and to the A. Then replace that piece cut with a different gene, creating a triple helix. This has been that dragon's endgame from the very get-go. Mixing the D to the N and to the A. Repeatedly, Yahuwah has warned us not to mix the seed.
Do not sow your vineyard with different kinds of seed, lest the yield of the seed which you have sown and the fruit of your vineyard be defiled. Deuteronomy 22:9.
Considering this, would Yahuwah have his vineyard defiled by the mixing of the serpent seed with that of human seed? Again, it has been written,
Do not put on a garment of different kinds of wool and linen together. Deuteronomy 22:11.
Come on, you all. Look deep. No, go deeper. What is your natural garment? I'm not the sharpest knife in the kitchen drawer, but come on. I beseech you, to perceive what our loving Father was trying to convey to us here. Still don't see it? Okay, maybe this will awaken you from that slumber.
And as you saw iron mixed with muddy clay, they are mixing themselves with the seed of men, but they are not clinging to each other, even as iron does not mix with clay. Daniel chapter 2 verse 43.
They don't mix. This is something not made up. Or someone's opinion, such as myself. No. This is not a Hollywood sci-fi movie. But this is the word of Yahuwah. They don't mix you all. Listen, mutated, D to the N, and back to the A, just won't work. Those divided houses will fall. I covered this in depth in previous FOY productions.
And if a house is divided against itself, that house is unable to stand. Mark chapter 3 verse 25.
You see, we were created in the image of Elohim.
And Elohim said, "Let us make man in our image, according to our likeness." Genesis chapter 1 verse 26. And Elohim created the man in his image, in the image of Elohim he created him, male and female, he created them. Genesis chapter 1 verse 27. And Elohim saw all that he had made, and see, it was very good. And there came to be evening, and there came to be morning, the sixth day. Genesis chapter 1 verse 31.
Everything was perfect in that day, and it was very good. Praise be to Yahuwah. You see, my beloved, the agenda has always been to taint or put a mark on the original image that Elohim created. The counterfeit cannot create anything in and of itself. Therefore, it took the image, and mutated the source code of life, leaving all who partook of the forbidden fruit, no longer made, according to its kind, but now is of a new kind, reducing it to a species created after the beast. The book of Genesis is about the genetic, the genes.
I need the first teleportation as Brenda. Run sequence.
Beelzebub, the Lord of the Flies, wants to take up shop right at the genetic level, corrupting the source code of life. Folks, the days of Noah are upon us, just as Yahushua said. With modern technology, these pawns of Satan can just use a pair of scissors. A simple cut and paste. Boom. It's a done deal. You see, by removing the targeted sequence and replacing it with foreign D to the N, and back to the A, results in a new species. So, has the final countdown started? There are quite a few theories as to when, or if this time frame has occurred. I'm not going to get into all of them, rather I will examine a few with the main one that supports my beliefs. Again, this is not thus said Yahuwah. Yet, I have never felt so certain of these last days than right here. Right now. Quickly, I want to analyze 3 theories followed by my personal beliefs. What I find fascinating is that all 4 end up in the exact same season. Just a few months off. Therefore, this presentation is by no means disrespecting towards anyone, rather I lay it here for you to seek the matter out for yourselves. The first one, I want to examine occurred on September 23, 2017. This rare phenomenon of the planet's soul lined over modern-day Jerusalem has not occurred in 7,000 years. According to some, this was the great sign of Revelation 12.
Now a great sign appeared in heaven, a woman clothed with the sun, with the moon under her feet, and on her head a garland of 12 stars. Then, being with child, she cried out in labor and in pain to give birth. And another sign appeared in heaven. Behold, a great fiery red dragon. And the dragon stood before the woman who was ready to give birth, to devour her child as soon as it was born.
When this planetary alignment occurred, many thought this event would be the end, while others thought the rapture was imminent. I'm not denying that this remarkable event occurred. Indeed, this was a great sign. However, I do not believe this was the start of the final countdown. This may have been the first time this appeared over the modern state of Israel, but this great sign has occurred previously throughout history. We see here in September 24, 1827, September 6, 1483, September 5, 1293, and September 14, 1056. Now if this is indeed the sign that jump-starts the final countdown, then the end will be around September 23, 2024. We know for some time the Zionists have been getting the Jewish Sanhedrin court established, along with the preparations for the Levitical priesthood. So when the temple is built, everything will be in place to deceive the world. You see, most do not understand that they already build the temple underground. Listen, when Yahushua declared it is finished, from that moment onward, the need for the Levitical priesthood was abolished. For Yahushua is a priest forever, in the order of Melchizedek. Yet, the show must carry on. Just like we see here. The Sanhedrin dedicated the temple altar on December 10, 2018. Did this jumpstart of the final countdown? No, for starters, this did not occur on Pesach, that is the Passover. However, they are getting the masses to accept this, so when they do sacrifice the Passover lamb, the world will receive it. This is so wrong on all levels. Sadly, many Messianics, Christians along with those within the Hebrew roots movement, have the wool pulled over their eyes. They're gonna get duped, as this system is not acceptable to Yahuwah. It's been done away with. There is no need for the Levitical priesthood. It's over whether you like it or not. The year 2020 was the turning point for end-time prophecy. So much occurred that year that I cannot fully cover it all. Therefore, let us examine a few events. There is no doubt in my mind that 2020 is the year the final countdown started. Let's start here when President Donald Trump officially signed, sealed and delivered the historic peace agreement titled the Abraham Accords on September 15, 2020.
Sir Benjamin Netanyahu of Israel and Crown Prince Mohammed bin Zayed of the United Arab Emirates, where they agreed to finalize a historical peace agreement. Everybody said this would be impossible. And as you know, Mohammed is one of the great leaders of the Middle East. After 49 years, Israel and the United Arab Emirates will fully normalize their diplomatic relations. They will exchange embassies and ambassadors and begin cooperation across the board and on a broad range of areas, including tourism, education, healthcare, trade, and security. This is a truly historic moment.
The United Arab Emirates and Bahrain recognized Israel's sovereignty. Indeed, that is a very historical moment. Yet, is it the start of the final countdown? Some in the faith seem to believe it is. Well, with all due respect to my brothers and sisters, I disagree. None of these events I have shown was the start of the final countdown. Historic? Yes. Amazing? Yes. But not the start of the final countdown. If none of these events mentioned here is the start, then when? When did the final countdown start? In order to know, we must go back to this verse spoken by the prophet Daniel.
And from the time that the daily sacrifice shall be taken away, and the abomination that maketh desolate set up, there shall be 1,290 days. Blessed is he that waiteth, and cometh to the 1,305 days.
The abomination of desolation is multivalent, as history has shown. Yet there is one that will cause the daily sacrifice to be taken away, causing the sanctuary to be polluted, where it can never be restored.
And arms shall stand on his part, and they shall pollute the sanctuary of strength, and shall take away the daily sacrifice, and they shall place the abomination that maketh desolate. Daniel, chapter 11 verse 31.
When that occurs, the final countdown starts. Wisdom here is to understand the following. Where is the sanctuary? What daily sacrifice is taken away? What abomination will make desolate? Let us look at the sanctuary, which is defined as a holy, that is a kodesh, or a sacred place. The most sacred part of a place of worship. So the sanctuary is the most sacred place. Sanctuary in Hebrew is mikdash, derived from kadash, which means set apart or make holy. Sanctuary is a house or temple, where divine service is performed.
And let them make me a sanctuary, that I may dwell in their midst. Exodus chapter 25, verse 8.
You see, the Father was wanting a sanctuary, so he could dwell in our midst.
We heard him say, I will destroy this temple that is made with hands, and within 3 days I will build another made without hands. Mark chapter 14 verse 58.
That is what he did. As you see, the Word became flesh, and dwelled among us. Yahushua is the sacred place. He is the sanctuary of the Most High. But watch this, my beloved.
And what agreement has the temple of Elohim with idols? For ye are the temple of the living Elohim, as Elohim has said, I will dwell in them, and walk in them, and I will be their Elohim, and they shall be my people. 2 Corinthians, chapter 6 verse 16. Know ye not that ye are the temple of Elohim, and that the Ruach Elohim dwells in you? If any man defile the temple of Elohim, him shall Elohim destroy, for the temple of Elohim is Kadash, which temple ye are. 1 Corinthians chapter 3, verses 16 to 17. I beseech you therefore, brethren, by the mercies of Elohim, that ye present your bodies a living sacrifice, Kadash, acceptable unto Elohim, which is your reasonable service. Romans chapter 12 verse 1.
The sanctuary, the Kadash temple, is you and me. Yahuwah wants to dwell within us. So now that we know what and where the sanctuary is, what then is the abomination that will leave waste? Remember, something will occur in the sanctuary that will cause the daily sacrifice to be taken away. Something so horrific, so terrifying, will occur within the temple, that is the human body, that Yahuwah will have to destroy that person. They will become defiled, thus be cut off, separated from Yahuwah. For this very reason, the daily sacrifice of repentance and forgiveness that comes through faith in Yahushua shall be taken away. This is bad, folks, very bad indeed. History tells us that Yahuwah would of Yah shall destroy every man, woman and child that were no longer created after their kind, same as with the days of Noah. That is why he sent the flood. There is no new thing under the sun. He had to destroy every temple then, and sadly will do it again, for a divided house will fall. Has the abomination of desolation been set up? We all know that the book of Daniel and the book of Revelation go hand in hand. With that said, I strongly believe that the abomination of desolation mentioned in the book of Daniel is the mark of the beast mentioned in the book of Revelation. This agenda, to enslave every man, woman and child, has been in the making over many years. They have slowly cooked the sheeple like frogs. A nice slow boil. And now the damage is done. No turning back. There have been a few pioneers throughout modern history, in the advancement of the abomination of desolation, and the mark of the beast, being received and set up where it ought not to be. For instance, Barbara Hubbard. She is a Jewish agnostic, a well-known futurist, a New Ager, public speaker, and author. If you have ever read anything she has written, then you get a very clear picture of just how easy people will think they are doing Yahuwah's work when the purging begins. She believes that a conscious evolution is the next step in human evolution. She teaches that a new species can be birthed. A new species, do you understand what she is implying here? If not, I'll paint this picture a little more clearer for you. Then the dots will start to connect. Look, she also claims a new world and a new humanity is struggling to be born. But here is the kicker, for the new world and a new humanity to evolve, all those who refuse to change will have to die. She has likened humans to cancer cells and defective seeds that needs to be destroyed and eradicated. These pawns of Satan believe that those who do not have the serpent seed, they are defective. They will think they are doing a good deed by murdering those who will not conform for the greater good. Sadly, Barbara Hubbard is not the only one that has this same ideology. The entire New Age philosophy is pure demonic and full of occultism. The roots date back since the Garden of Eden. Here is Alice Bailey, whom was considered the mother of the New Age movement. And the naysayers want to call the Kodesh scriptures fake, a political book. Wake up. These people are telling you who they serve, Lucifer. Then there is the New Ager, Ruth Montgomery. According to her, millions of people will not survive the transition into the New Age. Open your eyes, folks. A time like no other is upon us. An unprecedented time, when people both young and old, are just dropping dead. H.P. Blavatsky, a Russian occultist, spiritualist, author and co-founder of the Theosophical Society. She has been very popular to those in the occult. She has been known for the secret doctrine. Do you see what we are dealing with here, beloved ones? Barbara Hubbard, along with those like her, truly believe they have the God-given right, and are the overseers in deciding who lives, and who is eliminated. This is the mindset of pure Satanism. These self-appointed interpreters of the Messiah's words are not listening to Yahushua, the Messiah, but of the spirit of deception, the father of lies, the beast. Satan is the one they are listening to. This David Spangler, from the UN, stated, "No one will enter the new world unless he or she make a pledge to Satan. No one will enter the new age unless he will take a Luciferian initiation." They want you to receive Satan's seed, which is the abomination of desolation from the book of Daniel, and it is the mark of the beast in the book of Revelation. They will think they are doing a good deed by murdering those who will not conform for the greater good. Whoever does not conform to the global new world order will be murdered. Plain and simple. Listen, this is not just for any particular religious group or certain race of people. This involves every single human being that is alive during this time. The pawns of Satan want you to partake of the forbidden fruit by receiving the serpent's seed. In the early 20th century, the concept of future evolution of humanity had already entered the stage. Yet during this time the ideology of evolutionary humanism, transhumanism, had not been given a name. But this new concept was centered around the belief that humanity can evolve beyond its current physical and mental limitations, especially by means of science and technology. The stage was already set in programming the masses to embrace this new concept. As we see here, Daedalus, or Science and the Future, by J. B.S. Haldane, a British scientist from 1924. The book is an early vision of transhumanism. Through genetic engineering, mutating the body, humans will control their own evolution. Then there is movies like Metropolis, by Fritz Lang in 1927. A futurist city that is threatened with destruction. This silent film has the mad scientist created a machine person, aka transhumanism. Interesting to note that the film was inscribed on UNESCO's Memory of the World Register, the first film thus distinguished. The World, the Flesh and the Devil, J.D. Bernal, 1929. This futuristic essay explores the radical changes to human bodies and intelligence that science may bring about through genetic engineering. Olaf Stapledon, Last and First Men, a story of the near and far future from the 1930s. Genetic engineering, and a supermind, that is a consciousness composed of many telepathically linked individuals. Wow, can't make this up. That is here right now. The Tess are connected to the eye in the sky. Satan's iCloud. Thoughts are known, and their thoughts can be manipulated. For this very reason, it has been written, who can make war with the beast? Listen, you can't win a war when the enemy knows your thoughts. Your next move. We can't forget H.G. Wells' work either, Things to Come, which is about future evolution of humanity. Then there is Aldous Huxley, and Brave New World, published in 1932, about a futuristic society, called the World State, that revolves around science, technology, and efficiency.
Ladies and gentlemen, the distinguished author, Mr. Aldous Huxley.
Brave New World is a fantastic parable about the dehumanization of human beings. In the negative utopia described in my story, man has been subordinated to his own inventions. Science, technology, social organization, these things have ceased to serve man. They have become his masters. A quarter of a century has passed since the book was published. In that time, our world has taken so many steps in the wrong direction that if I were writing today, I would date my story not 600 years in the future, but at the most 200. The price of liberty and even of common humanity is eternal vigilance.
They all wrote about it. But Aldous Huxley's brother, Julian Huxley, a renowned biologist, is the one who created the term transhumanism back in 1951. He was known as the father of transhumanism. The human species can, if it wishes, transcend itself. Not just sporadically, an individual here in one way, an individual there in another way, but in its entirety, as humanity. We need a name for this new belief. Perhaps transhumanism will serve man remaining man, but transcending himself, by realizing new possibilities of, and for his human nature. I believe in transhumanism, once there are enough people who can truly say that, the human species will be on the threshold of a new kind of existence, as different from ours as ours is from that of Pekin man. It will at last be consciously fulfilling its real destiny. Julian Huxley. Julian believed man was able to create his own destiny. In his ideology, man was the captain of his own ship, the master of his own fate. He dedicated his life to advancing the cause of eugenics. He has been very successful in the advancement of evolutionary humanism. He said, the ultimate task will be to melt down the gods and magic and all supernatural entities. If there is no outside guiding force, no creator, then man must become the measure of himself, and the only one who is capable of improving himself. Soon, everyone wanted to jump on the transhumanism bandwagon. Even the mad scientists began testing the waters, and thus the world quickly saw an unprecedented technological acceleration, just within a short span of time. The transhumanism religion, which that is what this is, has the sole purpose that the human evolution can be achieved through science, emerging technologies, such as genetic engineering, artificial intelligence, and nanotechnology. You see, to the transhumanist, they believed one day man can become immortal. This could be achieved through hybridization of the humans and AI. This could be achieved by actively interfering in the making of human beings. These pawns of Satan announced that eugenics is the best method in human evolution, in reaching immorality by transcending. They have bypassed the one who declared, "I am the way, and the truth, and the life. No one cometh unto the Father, but by me." This is their religion, folks. That is why Julian Huxley became good friends with the Jesuit priest, Teilhard de Chardin. They both integrated Darwin's theory of evolution, and incorporated that into their spiritual development as well as social. So, what does all this have to do with the final countdown? Everything. You see, Julian Huxley was the first Director General of UNESCO. And in 2020, UNESCO and the head of the Universal Church, Pope Francis, came together for the Global Education Compact for a New Humanism. This unprecedented declaration, which was signed on October 15, 2020, basically is to re-educate the world on what it means to be human. By embracing transhumanist, humans can evolve through technology. This event was major, folks. Remember, transhumanism is a universal religion. To them, the Pope sits as the vicar of Christ, that is Christ on earth. He is the mouthpiece for the RCC, along with her daughters. He is the head of the Catholic Church, which means the Universal Church. And the entire world has embraced the new humanism of eugenics. Look at this. I've mentioned in previous FOY publications that these pawns of Satan must show and tell us what they are doing. The reason? Because in their twisted ideology, by showing and telling, they hope to be guiltless of the bloodshed spoken by the prophet Ezekiel. Look here, straight from the horse's mouth. A global educational compact is needed to educate us in universal solidarity and a new humanism, Pope Francis. Now what is that new humanism? This new idea system, whose birth we of the mid-20th century are witnessing, I shall simply call humanism. It must be focused on man. It must be organized round the facts and ideas of evolution. It will have nothing to do with absolutes, including absolute truth, absolute morality, absolute perfection and absolute authority. Julian Huxley. Even the Vatican, Archbishop Vincenzo Zanni, told everyone their endgame. Pope Francis's new humanism centers on a God who creates, but then withdraws. This new humanism is their freedom from God. This is their backdoor ticket to have immortality. Once that call spewed forth out of the unclean frogs, it was a done deal. All world leaders, all religious leaders, all international organizations, all political, all economic, all academic, all cultural sectors, needed to subscribe to the alliance of rebuilding the Global Educational Compact. This is a united treaty, signed by world leaders for all peoples of the world. For a universal village, as Pope Francis called it. This was the rise of both the religious and political worldwide pact to create a new humanism 2.0. I am thus reminded, he causes all both small and great, rich and poor, free and slave, all to receive. For indeed, Revelation chapter 18 verse 23, the merchants were the great men of the earth, for by thy sorceries were all nations deceived. Folks, this is a global compact for all nations to join in. Right here for everyone to see. Look, here, the code for programming our future for good, the transhuman code. At this conference, they talk about modifying the human, D to the N and back to the A. They also talk about if humans should be open humans, by modifying and through enhancements. Again, this can be achieved by cut and paste. The dots are practically touching. Yet so many got the wool pulled over their eyes. They got through gene altering, left a mark on that perfect image created after its kind, which caused Yahuwah to withdraw from that temple. This is the falling away that we have been warned about. A divided house cannot stand. For this very reason, the daily sacrifice of forgiveness of sins is removed. They can no longer repent, because Yahuwah has withdrawn from that temple, leaving it desolate. This universal compact was the go-ahead to initiating the tampering and altering of the humankind, whom of which were created in that wonderful image of the Most High, but now the tears are reduced to that of a mere beast. Thus, setting up the abomination, where it ought not to be by corrupting the source code of life. Transhumanism is about using breakthrough technologies to make humanity into something more, by altering or augmenting the human body through said technology. What do you think Joe's executive order on advancing biotechnology and biomanufacturing, which was signed back in September of 22, was all about? Well, according to him, they need to develop genetic engineering technologies and techniques so they can write circuitry for cells and predictably program biology in the same way in which we write software and program computers. They want to unlock the power of biological data through computing tools and artificial intelligence. This is genetic engineering, you all. Genetic engineering, also called genetic modification or genetic manipulation, is the modification and manipulation of an organism's genes using technology. It is a set of technologies used to change the genetic makeup of cells, including the transfer of genes within and across species boundaries to produce improved or novel organisms. In other words, genetic engineering or genetic modification is the transferring of genes from one organism to another, thus creating a new species. From UNESCO's own document, they state that their principal priority in the social and human sciences sector is the ethics of science and technology, with emphasis on bioethics and genetic engineering. No sooner than the Global Compact was signed, sealed, and delivered to the world, Operation Warseed was soon released. The gene-altering technology was introduced and launched across the globe. All the nations of the world united to infect humans with genetic Nephilim material, thus mutating the humankind, likened to a tear, all trying to get a backstage ticket to immortality. I am thus reminded.
For look, your enemies make an uproar, and those hating you have lifted up their head. They craftily plot against your people, and conspire against your treasured ones. They have said, "Come, and let us wipe them out as a nation, and let the name of Yasharel be remembered no more. For they have conspired together with one heart, they have made a covenant against you." Psalm chapter 83 verse 2 through 5.
Truly, the kings of the earth along with the merchants have gathered together to take their stand against the Most High and His anointed, Yahushua. Robert Ettinger, known as the father of the cryonic movement, in his 1970 book, Man into Superman, he states, "Now we are on the brink of the can-do era, when the leopard will be able to change his very spots. The transhuman condition is one of life unlimited, no acknowledged boundaries in time, space, or quality. What is happening is a discontinuity in history, with mortality and humanity on one side, on the other immortality and transhumanity. With a little encouragement, many of us can make the transition. This superhuman they have created is the Mistana, with fallen messenger, Rephaim, Nephilim, Anakin genetic material, from the fallen ones, corrupting the source code of life. Just as in the days of Noah, their end game, along with many others, is just one plan, one agenda, one narrative, one storyline, the one world system, to eugenically engineer humanity into a godlike species. Thus, you shall be like God. What technology has given them the ability to do this? I'm going to break this down for you, right here, right now. We got to be wise, so here on out, you will have to read between the lines. The abomination of desolation, which as previously stated, I believe is the mark of the beast. Now Revelation chapter 13 verse 16 tells us the following.
And he causeth all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand, or in their foreheads. Revelation chapter 13 verse 16.
Verse 17 tells us that no one should be able to buy or sell except he that has the mark, or the name of the beast, or the number of his name. I want you to focus in on that the mark of the beast. Notice it is in the right arm, or in the forehead. Interesting is that receive is didomi, which is defined as deliver, or something to be administered. Hello, deliver and administered. Take note as the pieces of this puzzle comes together. As hard as this is to accept, the word of Yahuwah states that there are two delivery systems for a person to receive the mark of the beast. The hand, the kaya, defined as the area between the finger up to the arm. And the second way the mark of the beast can be delivered is the forehead, which is metopon, defined as between the eyes. Well, guess what is between the eyes? The nasal bridge. This is bad, folks. Very bad indeed. These are the only two ways in which the mark, that is the karagma, the etchings, the branding of the beast can be given, delivered, and administered, is through that area between the eyes, and the hand, up to the arm. Now this is coming straight from Yahuwah's word, nothing being added. Now that we know, the arm and the nasil are the two parts of the body, where the mark of the beast can be received, delivered, and administered, so then what exactly is being administered? This is a direct bioweapon, designed to target the source code of life, by cutting the D to the N and back to the A. Then paste the modified genetic material back into the D to the N and back to the A. The foreign modified material begins to reproduce a new facsimile, corrupting the book of life, of the D to the N and back to the A. This, my beloved, is Satan's stamp, his mark, his badge, his branding, left in that temple. For see, he is the thief, who entered the good man's house, and suffered that man's house to be broken up. It was dashed to pieces.
But know this, that if the goodman of the house had known in what watch the thief would come, he would have watched, and would not have suffered his house to be broken up. Matthew chapter 24 verse 43.
If you look deeper, you might comprehend the fuller picture when King Hizkiyahu allowed the sovereign of Babel to see all the treasures in his house. Remember, not a single treasure he didn't show. And then the word of Yahuwah came to the prophet Yeshayahu and said, there would not be a treasure left in the king's house. You see, Yahuwah healed that king of his disease, and instead of giving Yahuwah the esteem in the healing as these people traveled far to hear about this wonderful work, instead he allowed the king of Babel to see all the treasures in his house. Go deeper, my beloved. You see, his house had been defiled. A divided house will fall. One cannot serve two masters. Those who have tasted the forbidden fruit, have left the sovereign of Babel, that thief, Satan, enter into their home, and took all that they had, leaving it desolate. I repeat.
Know ye not that ye are the temple of Elohim, and that the Ruach Elohim dwells in you? If any man defile the temple of Elohim, him shall Elohim destroy, for the temple of Elohim is Kodesh, which temple ye are. 1 Corinthians chapter 3 verse 16 and 17.
How is any of this even possible?
In a document, if we suspect we've misspelled a word, we can use the find function to highlight the error and correct it or delete it. Within our DNA, that function is taken on by a system called CRISPR-Cas9. CRISPR is short for clustered, regularly interspaced short palindromic repeats. CRISPR consists of two components, the Cas9 protein that can cut DNA and a guide RNA that can recognize the sequence of DNA to be edited. To use CRISPR-Cas9, scientists first identify the sequence of the human genome that's causing a health problem. Then, they create a specific guide RNA to recognize that particular stretch of A's, T's, G's, and C's in the DNA. The guide RNA is attached to the DNA cutting enzyme Cas9, and then this complex is introduced to the target cells. It locates the target letter sequence and cuts the DNA. At that point, scientists can then edit the existing genome by either modifying, deleting, or inserting new sequences. It effectively makes CRISPR-Cas9 a cut-and-paste tool for DNA editing.
Here we go. You just drank an ingestible formula that uses a CRISPR-Cas9 genetic editor to resequence your DNA on a molecular level. Science rocks.
Wow! Okay, here's what I need you to do. Pretend like you're a normal person talking to a much cooler normal person.
In precisely 45 seconds, you will transform into a pigeon.
I'm out.
Wait. What you're about to experience is the future of espionage.
Okay.
You might be experiencing some mild discomfort. Or severe. I'll make a note of that.
This is because I fired you, right? Okay, I'm gonna walk out of here.
Yeah, that might be hard because you're in the middle of chromothripsis.
Oh, okay, might pass out.
Oh, you're definitely gonna pass out. Your genomes are being smashed apart so they can be reassembled with pigeon DNA.
Muscle it down, Lance. Muscle it down. What did you do? What did you do?
Whoa, you're entering phase 2. Epigenetic modulation. Think of each gene as having a switch, and one by one, your switches are flipping to pigeon, human, pigeon, human, pigeon, human.
As you see, just a simple cut and paste. Now, I'm about to step on some toes here, while I get down to the nitty-gritty. This will be a hard pill for many to swallow. I have already received lots of emails about this subject. Some even asking if they should cut their arm off. Look, I'm just presenting the information. It's up to each of you to search the matter out for yourselves. Do you think I have been exempted from this sorrow? This grief? Come on. No, we all are feeling it. This is the worst time throughout all of history. Yeah, I feel it. I've had my share of sleepless nights. Eyes swollen from crying so many tears. Stomach upset, all tied in knots. Even hoping I am wrong. A vector is needed to deliver the fallen messenger. So, LNPs are used. This enables the modified genetic material to penetrate the source code. LNPs are used in both delivery methods. The hand to the arm, and the between the eyes are direct nose to brain delivery. So, what are LNPs?
LNP, lipid nanoparticle. We don't know exactly what the structures of lipid nanoparticles are yet. There's been a lot of trial and error and experiments to optimize their properties. But briefly, we have a bunch of lipids, a coat here, that solvates some cholesterol, other lipids. There are some surfactant proteins. There are maybe some lipids here that are pH dependent so that we deliver them to the right cells.
LNPs are used in both delivery methods. The hand to the arm, and the between the eyes, which allows direct nose to brain delivery. These are the vectors used to deliver the Mr. NA. So, LNPs are used. This enables the modified genetic material to penetrate the source code. The LNPs contain magnetic materials such as the black goo and hydrojelly, which enables these things to communicate by sending and receiving signals through certain frequencies. These liquid crystals are known as quantum dots, which are made from semiconductor material that act as a receiver for low-frequency waves from the 5G. These are found in the forbidden fruit, the sea rum and the PCR sticks. Interesting to know is that hydro jelly, which is nanotechnology, spreads through the body or the host like a web. I am thus reminded of the Hopi Indian end-of-world prediction.
Hopi prophecies include a description of a giant spider web that covers the land.
This is telegraph lines, and then telephone lines, and now the World Wide Web, the internet. We talk, it's a giant spider web that's encompassing the earth. So this is another major prophecy that has come to pass. The Hopi all.
Do you understand what is being said here? The web spreads throughout the entire host like one big motherboard. This is the liquid crystals Dr. Gilbert was talking about, and this man. The Q dots are tiny crystals that act like receivers for the EMF waves. Here, look at this. This is the patent that uses tiny needles as a delivery device to the area between the eyes. As you can see, they have had since 2010 to tinker with this delivery system. Now watch this. Here we see that the tiny needles can administer little semiconductors right between the eyes. Hello. What did I just say was needed to deliver the forbidden fruit? We further see, these tiny needles are painless and bloodless. The tiny needles are hollow and can be filled with the serum. This is sickening. I really hate having to break this down for you all. Nevertheless, the shofar must blow. These little, tiny needles that are filled with the forbidden fruit break off and attach to the mucosal surface. They can remain there for a few days. But since this is painless and bloodless, the karagma, that is the etching, has still occurred, right into the mucous tissue. How many of you right now knew that Billy Boy Gates' tiny needles, with Lucy rays put on a little patch, the size of a contact lens, would be the MOTB? Well, you see right here, those tiny needles can be arranged in a variety of ways, such as sheets, rollers, and look. Oh my goodness. Would you look at that? They can even be wrapped around something. Are you seeing this? Now this explains how it works. Turning, or pressing the shaft between the fingers dispenses the forbidden fruit. Just a simple rolling in the area between the eyes, and boom, the forbidden fruit is administered. Unbelievable. Brothers and sisters, the world is about to go very dark. And each of you will have to draw that line in the sand. I explain more here in a jiffy. But for now, we also see. Here, we see that these tiny needles can be coated with something. Now what do you think they are coated with? Would you look at that? Right here, we see that they can be dipped in a solution or jelly. These tiny needles are wrapped around the PCR test. See, all one needs to do is a little twist here, and then another little dance there. Boom. The needles break off, stay right there in the mucosal surface, until they dissolve, delivering the forbidden fruit. Because these itty-bitty needles are about the width of a single strand of hair, there is no pain and no bleeding as previously mentioned.
This is a scale model of our microneedles. Obviously this is made out of plaster cast and is about 6 centimeters high. Normally a microneedle could be 600 micrometers high, so just greater than half a millimeter in height. And instead of being made from plaster cast, it's made from a hydrogel forming material. So this is essentially a similar material to what soft contact lenses are made from. So it's hard in the dry state, so it can penetrate the skin, but it rapidly then takes in fluid from the viable skin and swells to form a more jelly-like material. And it's through this jelly that we can deliver medicines or pick up a single microneedle penetrating through the stratum corneum, which is the outermost barrier layer of our skin. And once our microneedles are in skin, they will rapidly take up skin interstitial fluid to form these discrete hydrogel bulbs, and that's what we see in our next image. So even though our microneedles become soft when inserted...
This is all wicked and very cunning, as these tiny needles are like snake fangs. Remember, the MOTB is likened to a snake bite. As bad as all that is, there is one more nasty thing that has been used in both delivery systems. An enzyme called luciferase. This is how these pawns of Satan did this. They took the sticks, wrapped the tiny needles around the tip, then they dipped that into the jelly. The jelly swelled up, covering the tiny needles. Then the sticks were dipped in the luciferase. This is why when placed under black light they glow. These pawns of Satan want this in every man, woman, and child. Look, both delivery routes contain this.
They do have a little bit of a blue purplish tint to them. As we mentioned, they're not supposed to be like this, so we reached out to Duke Energy and they explained what is happening. Google search claims purple LEDs are good for the skin, but why should that matter when you're driving?
No clue. It's just really strange.
The poor animals have not been able to escape the iron claws of this wickedness. Do you get it now? Those who have partook of the forbidden fruit will illuminate. Now, this is when all this takes a turn for the worse. cDNA is a synthetic gene. That synthetic gene can be patented and owned by the Creator, the Supreme Court has ruled. Do you understand that? Whoever and whatever receives that modified genetic material can now be patented. Thus, becomes a slave to the patent holder. Within their own documents, they tell us that the Mr. is an operating system. It's a software of life. Our genome is also a software. If you change that, you change the species. And are thus no longer created after its kind, as the end game is to create a triple helix in the genome.
The difference of this forced industrial revolution is it doesn't change what you are doing. It changes you. If you take genetic editing, just as an example, it's you who are changed. And of course this has a big impact.
Hacking human beings. To hack human beings, you need a lot of biological knowledge, a lot of computing power, and especially a lot of data. If you have enough data about me, and enough computing power and biological knowledge, you can hack my body, my brain, my life. You can reach a point when you know me better than I know you. Government and corporations, for the first time in history, have the power to basically hack human beings. There is a lot of talk about hacking computers, hacking smartphones, hacking bank accounts, but the big story of our era is the ability to hack human beings. And by this I mean that if you have enough data and you have enough computing power, you can understand people better than they understand themselves, and then you can manipulate them in ways which were previously impossible. And in such a situation, the old democratic system stopped functioning. We need to reinvent democracy for this new era in which humans are now hackable animals. You know, the whole idea that humans have, you know, they have this soul or spirit and they have free will and nobody knows what's happening inside me. So whatever I choose, whether in the election or whether in the supermarket this is my free will, that's over. That's over. Might enable human elites to do something even more radical than just build digital dictatorships. By hacking organisms, elites may gain the power to re-engineer the future of life itself. Because once you can hack something, you can usually also trust. Many tyrants and governments wanted to do it, but nobody understood biology well enough, and nobody had enough computing power and data to hack millions of people. Neither the Gestapo nor the KGB could do it. But soon, at least some corporations and governments will be able to systematically hack all the people.
These are the legs of a tiny army of robots. So small, they are dwarfed by a single-celled parameter legs. A 7 nanometer thick sheet of platinum is coated on one side with an inactive material like graphene. The legs are then patterned using a technique called lithography, and the excess material is removed. In order to work, the legs need to be in water, but the concept is relatively simple. When a current is passed through the platinum, charged water particles are attracted to the uncoated surface. The force of these particles binding to the metal creates stress on one side of the sheet, and that is what makes it bend. By reinforcing sections of the sheet, the bending can be controlled more specifically. And voila, a tiny robot's leg. The robots are equipped with 2 minuscule solar cells. By shining a laser on each one, researchers can create the voltage which activates the front or back legs. These new actuators allow the tiny circuit to move, and because they are created using the same well-understood manufacturing processes as semiconductor electronics, their production can be easily scaled, making millions of tiny robots at the same time. Swarms of robots so small that they can be injected through a hypodermic syringe, and collected.
If something can be connected, it will be connected. Of hundreds, of hundreds, of hundreds, of hundreds, of billions, of billions, billions, billions of microchips. Connected, 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 connected.
The new normal. The new normal.
Take that, rewind it back.
The new normal.
Take that, rewind it back.
Connected of billions, of hundreds, of billions of microchips. Connected. If something can be connected, it will be connected.
See, they want everyone connected to the AI computing system. This is why we are seeing a rare phenomenon has been occurring in those bitten. They are emitting unnamed MAC numbers. An unnamed MAC number means there are no known manufacturer or other identifier with these numbers. Thus, they are unnamed. For those who do not know, MAC is shortened for Media Access Control Address. This number can be likened to how each house has its own unique postal address. You see, every device on the internet has an exclusive MAC address. The MAC address allows it to be identified on the network. A MAC address can also be called a networking hardware address, and is able to communicate between two networked devices. These numbers are visible through the mobile phone's Bluetooth receiver. The addresses consist of 12 digits, with numbers and letters. The first 3 sets of 2 hexadecimal numbers are the manufacturer, or the OUI, the organizationally unique identifier. The second set of numbers is the network interface controller, or the NIC. Now this is when the rubber meets the road. I'm not being judgmental towards any individual. So please, stop sending me emails, getting your bridges all uptight with me. If you dare, run a Bluetooth scan yourself. Because I have been getting many emails asking about this. This is how you do it. Turn on your phone. Do a Bluetooth scan. Click Show Bluetooth device without names. If you're not seeing this, either your phone is no longer offering this, or you may have to go into hidden settings. Then activate developer options. Turn on show Bluetooth device without names. Then run a Bluetooth scan. After you run a scan, go here to the MAC address vendor database and put that number in. This one right here is fine, you see that? Okay. If you scroll down the page, you can find more information out about this. You can also do the same address number search here. Just put the number in, then hit search. Do you see that? Now, let us search this number. Oh, do you see? A red alert comes up. Look at that, nothing. So this means that there is not a manufacturer associated with this number. Check this out yourself. Here is the other number, again nothing. A single person can have more than one number. Remember, these numbers are always changing. Whereas, MAC addresses that are not connected to a human will never change. This means, those who have been bitten, have a wireless number. Let us not forget, it has been written they will receive the number of the beast. See, this patent. They want to track those who partook of the forbidden fruit. The Bluetooth MAC addresses are emitting from those who were bitten. They are now walking antennas, able to receive and give transmitting information between devices. Once they receive signals from the outside or information has been transferred, a MAC address will appear.
Showed us a few current projects. Some sound like they're from an episode of Star Trek, dermal implant, now in late-stage testing. It's not some dreaded government microchip to track your every move.
No, it won't track you. Yet it does. Yeah, right, and I got a bridge to sell you. For sure.
But a tissue-like gel engineered to continuously test your blood.
It's a sensor.
This tiny green thing in there?
That tiny green thing in there, you put it underneath your skin, and what that tells you...
We all know it's not a microchip. Nay, it's just a sensor. That is implanted into the subdermal. That contains a wireless transmitter that sends data to the big cloud in the sky. Oh boy. But hey, I repeat, it's not a microchip. Come on you all. Wake up. I'm not making this stuff up. Look right there. They are telling you straight up. These tiny biosensors become what? Exactly. One with the body. And the phone is the gateway used to store the information. Where? The big cloud. AKA, the beastly AI computing system. Gosh you all, what is that? Oh, look, the hydrojelly. Oops. Looks like they did it again. They got the special DARPO, Terry junk in it. Just one inject, shun folks. That is all it takes. Then they got your number. For the special sauce, they added a little fluorescent Lucif erase in it. Remember, the phone is used to send data back to the D-Wave computing system. And they tell you, for historical tracking that will be shared by digital networks. Do you get it now? I hope so, because the making of this video has caused me a lot of trials and tribulation. So much so, I even asked Yahuwah why I was born. Do you know what he told me? To bear witness to the truth. This, I am doing right here. Right now.
It's a new implantable medical microchip, so tiny it can be injected into a human body with a syringe. It's about the size of a single grain of salt.
Are the dots starting to connect for you? This is the new normal they were talking about. Anyone emitting Bluetooth MAC addresses that says this is normal, sadly has not received the love of the truth. Do this. Sit on the side of the road, in a safe place of course, like in a parking lot, go to your local grocery store, or shoot, just go to your local cemetery and look at the numbers. This is frightening. Shocking. and just downright depressing to see how many have this inside of them. Even so, matters are still about to get a lot worse. Since they are connected to the beastly computing system, anyone at any given time can be manipulated and hacked. They will be able to influence massive groups of people. People's attitudes, life's decisions, mood changes, depressions, psychotic attacks, and other undesirable behaviors. This is the end game. The fourth industrial revolution of the transhuman agenda.
Chicken McNuggets at this time.
Yes, you do.
No, we don't.
Why not?
Because we don't.
You know what? Hold on, just fucking hiss at you.
Just get your ass out of the car. What's going on over there?
Don't you fucking run away from me, you family.
Holy shit.
Oh, no. Don't make me use my ultimate form. I will fuck you up. Wait, I'm gonna wreck you. Get the fuck out of here. What? I'm gonna try to show you.
Ma'am, whoa. Ma'am. What? Who's that shit? Ma'am. Oh my god. What the fuck is this bitch on? Holy shit.
What's going on? Did she like get burdened by her apple pie or something?
I have no idea. Alright, we need to call the police. This is out of control. Holy.
This is not normal. People are going berserk. This is when the rubber meets the road. I will not be wishy-washy or lukewarm to tickle the ears. I'm not here for popularity reasons. Look, you all, it is about to get downright ugly. Take heed to what I am about to tell you. This is a matter of life or death. Do not dig your own grave here. To understand what is about to play out, let us look at the horrific massacre in Rwanda.
In Africa today, a plane carrying the presidents of two African nations has apparently been shot down as it was coming in for a landing in the capital of Rwanda. UN officials say that both presidents were killed. They're the leader of Rwanda.
On April 7, 1994, angry armed Hutus militias, who were protesting, quickly just went berserk. They suddenly became uncontrollable. Crazy maniacs. It was like someone just flipped a switch. Then boom. Instantaneously, turning them into killing machines against the minority ethnic group Tutsi. Close to 1 million men, women, children, and anyone else who stood against them were murdered. These people were slaughtered in a very gruesome manner. Most died by horrific machete attacks. Every minute, 6 people were slain to death. Their dead bodies were left in front yards and in streets. 100 days of pure terror.
This is pretty early on. Already 200,000 people had been killed in a campaign of violence orchestrated by the government and the military, and by this radio station that was on the air, the Radio Mil Colleen, which was exhorting people to go out and kill their neighbors.
I really hope you are comprehending what he just said. This massacre had the backing of the police and the military. They are the ones that supplied the weapons and trained them. Listen to this.
Ibyo babyigisha abaturage bose b'abasore bafite imbaraga kandi byose byakorerwaga imbere ya komini, imbere y'ubuyobozi mu butegetsi. Mu byakorerwaga ku makomini, abapolisi n'abajandarume, hariho ijandarume niyo yazaga gukoresha imyitozo aho ngaho mu makomini, kuri buri komini hose bahamagara abasore bose ngo baze bitoze nyine banatwigisha ibintu byo kurwanisha imipanga n'iki ko imbunda zibarenyeye twafata n'imipanga byose ariko ntidusigaye
They were told to use whatever they had to kill men, women and even children. Even their neighbors. No holds barred, in the elimination of their enemy. And here you thought, the purge was just a movie. You all need to wake up. This man said it's like he became an animal. He described himself as an animal, doing something an animal would normally do. Kill. Another man stated that when he was speaking about the Rwandan massacre, he described it as pure terror. He said that when he was talking to the Hutus, it was as if they instantly became non-human. Non-human, folks. Do you hear me? He further stated, it was like he was talking straight to the devil. Do you understand this? This is very relevant to what is playing out right here, right now, on the world stage. Listen to what Dr. Elizabeth Raushabees once said. Give me the money, and 3 months and I'll be able to affect the behavior of 80% of the people in this town, without their knowing it. Make them happy, or at least, they'll think they're happy. Or aggressive.
Have a lovely afternoon, madam.
Oh, shit. He's leaving. I'm starting the 10th now. Hope enough of these freaks have out SIM cards.
Just like the infidel you are!
What did you do to me? I had no control. I killed all those people. I wanted to.
Clever, isn't it? In simple terms, it's a neurological wave that triggers the centers of aggression and switches off inhibitors.
Transmitted through your nasty free SIM cards, I assume.
Did you take note that as soon as he turned up the frequency, everyone in the church got full of rage? The scenes that follow are full of wickedness. People gone mad, killing one another. I can't believe that people watch this demonic stuff and call it entertainment. So, as he walked out of the church, he asked, "What you did to me?" The other guy explains how it was a neurological wave that triggered aggression, and that was transmitted through the cell phone. Are you comprehending what they are saying? Sadly, that terror that occurred back in the early 90s has everything to do with what is about to be unleashed upon the world. This man here told us that those received the forbidden fruit also received liquid crystals. All that was needed was something to emit a certain frequencies. Instantly, those people were hacked and turned into zombies. Sadly, folks, the Rwanda massacre was small scale. That was a practice run. Something far worse is coming down the pipeline. The next one will be on a global scale. The masses will be electromagnetically augmented to commit global genocide against all those who have not been bitten. Look, we all know that humans can be controlled through means of brain waves. There are many patents and MK-Ultra secret experiments designed to manipulate the human nervous system using electromagnetic frequencies. This technology allows a person to directly manipulate the brain waves. They can inflict rage, fear, panic, calmness, sadness, depression, and even happiness.
In 1965, DARPA launched Project Pandora, which studied the possibility of using microwave radiation to control human behavior. The project reportedly ended in 1969, but DARPA's investigation of how machines can affect and possibly control the brain continues to this day.
We can send instructions and information to an actual person from a distance with this kind of technology. To let another person control their actions that could be something that could be malicious.
If there's some way to do it from a fall into this realm of mind control and direct human-machine interface that DARPA may well want to keep secret.
In the near future, DARPA may possess the technology to remotely control the human mind. But as concerning as that may be, according to some scientists, a more permanent kind of mind control technology is looming. And it involves modifying the human brain by altering the human body's DNA.
The future of mind control, and the future being right now because these experiments are being done, is using gene editing tools. And one of them would be CRISPR. The way it works is take the CRISPR, which are these short alternating repeats of DNA. You put that together with an enzyme called Cas. And so you take the CRISPR that you want to use, and you put these pieces together that can be injected, and insert this DNA to certain areas of the brain so that we can change brain cells and turn you into something you wouldn't otherwise be. So in this way, gene editing technologies like CRISPR really form a definite basis for future mind control.
These are things that
the pawns of Satan have learned they can hack the human brain by remotely stimulating the nervous system, either by internal or external means. The terrifying part, the person would not even realize their emotions, their attitudes, and physiological changes are being controlled and manipulated. They are being triggered and changed remotely. This is pure evil. Sadly, that terror that occurred in Rwanda was small scale. Something far worse is coming down the pipeline. The masses will be electromagnetically augmented to commit global genocide against all those who have not been bitten.
King Nectar! We'll see about that, Inspector Loose Lips.
Now activating helmet brain control devices.
I have a theory. Pokemon brainwaves are divided into 4 groups. They are alpha waves, beta waves, gamma waves, and delta waves. Using electromagnetic waves to create stress in the test subject, we increased its power to maximum potential. Previously, the EM waves emitted by this device affected any nearby Pokemon. Now, we can target specific test subjects thanks to numerous upgrades. The key to the success of this device is that it suppresses the alpha waves while amplifying the gamma and delta waves. I've succeeded in targeting a specific Pokemon and maximizing its power, and they're under our control at all times.
They have the ability to beam certain frequencies to inflict fear, depression, happy, sad, trance-like, anger. Pretty much all emotions can be used. They can make someone feel like they are on fire. To get people to run away, they can cause civil unrest, riots, or cause people to flee for their lives. These waves can influence the brain with microwave frequencies. This Science Channel clip exposes how microwaves are used for mind control.
Away. At the height of the Cold War, both sides sought to perfect mind control or brainwashing techniques. Could magnetic brain therapies and brain mapping be used to control people by tampering with their emotions or memory?
Well, it's a powerful new tool that, just like nuclear reactions, can be either used to harness energy or misused for atomic bombs. And with the ability to go in and push and pull brain regions, you can use that in therapy, which is what we're doing here, or potentially use it for misencoding of information or other things like that. So just like any tool that our society has, it's really up to us as a society to make sure that it's used properly.
Microwaves and other radio frequencies are known to affect the human body.
Dr. Elizabeth Thrasher, Bees told us, it can be done. Dr. Gilbert told us, they have already done it. Bill Cooper tried to warn us. My gosh, wake up. Once your eyes are open in plain sight, the truth is everywhere. We are already witnessing a rise in violent attacks. Are you serious? Who runs off a cliff trying to kill their entire family? Who just starts opening fire on their co-workers? Who does this stuff? Come on? Why would two children decide to go start shooting their peers at a birthday party? A birthday party. Look, these people are already changing. Their behaviors are being altered. The worst part, they don't even know it. Don't believe me. It is already happening. These are comments from people describing the change in the people they know who have been bitten by both rounds. The great falling away is currently occurring right here, right now, on the world stage. People that were once enlightened are now dark. Those who had some sort of belief system no longer do. Those who once loved Yahuwah no longer pray, nor read the word. Don't fear him. Don't honor him. Don't take him seriously. Even stating their eternity is not good. So rather than repenting, they just don't care. What we have here is like a zombie parasite fungus. Sort of like cordyceps. How it infects its host through mind controlling.
Psilocybin, also a fungus. Viruses can make us ill, but fungi can alter our very minds. There's a fungus that infects insects, gets inside an ant, for example, travels through its circulatory system to the ant's brain, and then floods it with hallucinogens, thus bending the ant's mind to its will. Fungus starts to direct the ant's behavior, telling it where to go, what to do, like a puppeteer with a marionette. And it gets worse. The fungus needs food to live, so it begins to devour its host from within, replacing the ant's flesh with its own. But it doesn't let its victim die, no. It keeps its puppet alive by preventing decomposition. How? Where do we get penicillin from?
Fungus. Dr. Schoenheis, you're in distress.
Fungal infection of this kind is real, but not in humans.
True, fungi cannot survive if its host's internal temperature is over 94 degrees. And currently there are no reasons for fungi to evolve to be able to withstand higher temperatures. But what if that were to change? What if, for instance, the world were to get slightly warmer? Well, now, there is reason to evolve. One gene mutates, and an Ascomycetia, Candida, ergot, Cordyceps, Aspergillus, any one of them could become capable of burrowing into our brains and taking control, not of millions of us, but billions of us. Billions of puppets with poisoned minds, permanently fixed on one unifying goal: to spread the infection to every last human alive by any means necessary.
The more numerous a species becomes, the more likely it will be attacked by its nemesis, a cordyceps fungus.
It is like they have become possessed by a demon. Most of these people seem to now be soulless. This is what Rudolf Steiner was talking about. Eliminating the soul by means of a snake bite. A horrific game of Russian roulette with a terrible outcome. The VMAT2 gene just turned off. I am thus reminded that a zombie is a will-less body, robbed of its soul, given the semblance of life by a supernatural force, for some evil purpose. A snake god. Wow. You can't make this up. It's a nightmare. No wonder the prophet Daniel was sickened over this. Look. We were warned. Again, they told us. But more importantly, Yahuwah has told us. We were told not to bring in a curse, that is an abominable thing, into our tents, our temples, our bodies unless we become a curse like it. Sadly, they did just that. Here let me explain. This, my beloved, has never been, nor will it ever be King David's star. On the contrary, it's the most wicked sign in all witchcraft, the hexagram. Those in the occult will put a hex on someone through a magic spell or charm meant to cause harm. You can smack your lips all you want. I'm not going to debate this. So you just hold your horses. Wait until you see what scientists have discovered over 10 years ago. A nano-size molecule they are calling the Star of David. They created this particle combining a semiconductor and a metal. These hybrid nanoparticles are hexagonal crystals. Interesting is that the nanoparticle can be used with other semiconductors. Of course, we know what semiconductors they are referring to, and those are used in both routes. If you have followed my videos, then you know how a certain doctor let the cat out of the bag about liquid crystals. Remember, the military and police were involved with the Rwandan massacre. Please, wake up. What is interesting about the black goo is that it just so happens to be hexagonal dimensional crystals. Yeah. And guess what? And it can be made into a liquid. Thus, what do you know? Liquid crystals. Wow. It is messed up, you all. Now, watch this. I'm going to knock this out of the park. It's a real nail biter. The so-called Star of David molecule and black goo infused to a perfect fit. Wow. Amazing. Do you see that? Sadly, they took the tent, the tabernacle, the shrine of Moloch, the star of their god, Rephan, into the depth of their temples. The source code of life was cut out, while the patent luciferase was pasted back in. The star of their god has set up shop, thereby putting a permanent mark within their genome. They are now living, breathing, and worshipping the one that came in its name. They are no longer created after its kind, rather have become a new species. We cannot serve two masters. Read 1 Samuel, chapter 5. You got to go deeper to what Yahuwah is really saying. Yahushua spoke in parables for a reason. Look, the ark was brought into the temple, and only one stood. Dagon was found prostrated. Then the very next day, the head and hands had been broken off. Only room for one in the temple, folks. Please listen to me. I am telling you again, something so horrific, so evil, so ruthless, and chaotic is about to be unleashed upon the wheat. Scriptures refer to this time as the worst time throughout all of history. There won't ever be a time like it, nor ever will. It will be so bad that Yahuwah will have to shorten the days, if not, no flesh will survive. They are going to unite to fight the common enemy. The plot has already been written. The ball already in motion. Look around, this is all by design. The tares are being separated from the wheat. The split has occurred. Families that were once close are now distant. Those who have not been bitten at one time could not participate in family gatherings, weddings, birth anniversaries, holiday feasts, etc. Grandparents were stripped from seeing grandchildren. Marriages are being broken. Truly, this is the beginning of sorrows. They are all connected. At any given moment, the device can be hacked, then taken over by, say, Agent Smith, the Beastly Eye computing system. They are hooked to the Beastly Eye system and being fed whatever it tells them. Free will, that's over for those who have been bitten. Did you know that a popular AI chatbot convinced a man to commit suicide? Brothers and sisters, the transhuman agenda has come to fruition.
Droid DNA augmentation initiated. Neural speeds increasing to 4G LTE. Brain upgrading to a quad-core processor. Predictive intelligence with Google Now complete.
Introducing Droid DNA by HTC. It's not an upgrade to your phone, it's an upgrade to yourself.
Look, the beastly AI system is already here, folks. See, Satan is not omnipresence. So this system with RFID and an eye will need to be in place. So when Satan shows up, it can be all-knowing, including reading people's thoughts. Have you ever heard of D-Wave? They know what they have unleashed and they are warning us that the cat is out of the bag. D-Wave is quantum communication that is totally different than any other physical computer, in that this is a massive communication device to have communication with other entities. This technology, D-Wave along with CERN, will usher in a tsunami of demons to prepare their people's hearts and minds to receive Satan. Please see part 3 of the greatest show on earth. D-Wave is Devil Wave, Demonic Wave. They are literally calling to the other side. Look, forget the rituals of making a pentagram with candles, or even doing mock sacrifices. With D-Wave, they have an open line straight to demonic entities. This is the last kingdom, my beloved. They have mingled themselves with the seed of man. But they cannot cleave to one another. For this very reason, both young and old are just suddenly dropping dead. This technology within the host is causing some to bleed out from every orifice. Eyes, ears, nose, well, you get the picture. One man dropped dead bleeding out and continued to bleed 8 hours after he was dead in the morgue. One lady was found in the shower, blood from every hole. Another man dropped, bleeding out everywhere. He was found lying in a pile of blood. I found footage of a man, he was sitting on the curb, blood coming out everywhere right there at Ground Zero, Wuhan. An excruciating way to die. Do you understand what I am saying? Like a microwave, cooking from the inside out. Since the AI parasite is taken over the host, the blood has to go somewhere. This is terrifying and horrific. They're going to say it is from this. But we all know, this is the one Billy Gates of hell was bragging about, with that demonic smile. You remember? I know you do. Since we were told, when you see the abomination of desolation being set up, my beloved, setup is different than a person receiving it. So, when did the final countdown start? Well, when was it set up? No doubt, different opinions as to the precise moment. Both delivery methods came out around the same time. Some will say the forbidden fruit was first received on December 8th, others, December 14th. The tiny needles came out the fall of that same year, as well as the little grippers, you know the ones I'm talking about. By the turn of the year, mass distribution of the updated PCRs began across the globe. Then in 2022, anyone could get a free one mailed to them. That right there should have been a red flag. Sadly, they drank the Kool-Aid and got Jim Jones'd. We know October 15th, 2020 all were invited to sign off on the Global Education Compact. Oh my beloved, this was the global alliance to make war against the woman. The kings of the earth, the merchants of the world, all having one mind to get her. Shortly after this global event we see that the Markham went forth. Yet, at the same time, we must ask, was the daily sacrifice abolished at that time? It was most definitely being set up, but was the daily sacrifice cut off? Depending on various interpretations, this might have occurred on December 8th, as literally the shots saw around the world. So these two dates put us in the season. However, October 15th is when the war against the saints was set up. This is the day the ball started rolling. Let us look at October 15th, 2020 as the starting point of the final countdown. This is the day that I strongly believe the final countdown started. I'm going to show you why, but first you need to watch this. Now watch this. What I'm about to show you is amazing. If we go 1,290 days, we come to midweek of Feast of Unleavened Bread during Passover in 2024. Do you see this? 1,290 days. Wow. This is fascinating. And very significant. Hold up. Wait a minute. Look at this, you all. 1,290 days takes us to the 27th of April, mid-Feast of Unleavened Bread week. But this day is the first Sabbath after Passover, which means, at the end of that Sabbath, we go into another feast, the sheaf wave offering.
When you come into the land which I give you, and shall reap its harvest, then you shall bring a sheaf of the first fruits of your harvest to the priest. And he shall wave the sheaf before Yahuwah, for your acceptance. On the morrow after the Sabbath the priest waves it.
When you come into the land, you are to have the priest wave the sheaf of the first fruits of your harvest. Wow. Praise Yah. I don't think you all are understanding this. Watch this. I'm gonna knock this out of the park. Most of us know that after the first weekly Sabbath that follows Passover, the priest takes the first fruits of the harvest, and waves that before Yahuwah. Yahushua is the first fruits of the dead. He was resurrected up. All who die in Messiah shall also be resurrected up. But let me break this down for you. Who is the high priest? And who makes up the harvest? Exactly, Yahushua is the high priest. And we, the called out ones, are the first fruits of Yahuwah's harvest. Now hold up, there is more. This sheaf wave offering is also when we begin the Omer count.
And from the morrow after the Sabbath, from the day that you brought the sheaf of the wave offering, you shall count for yourselves 7 completed Sabbaths. Until the morrow after the 7th Sabbath you count 50 days, then you shall bring a new grain offering to Yahuwah.
So now we begin the 49-day count, or 7 weeks. 50 days represents the year of release. They were the early believers, still missing Yahushua. But to their amazement suddenly, the Ruach HaKodesh descended upon them like tongues of fire. Wow, do you feel it? Praise be to the Most High. The Torah was not written upon stone but within their hearts. They received the comforter that Yahushua had promised would come, teaching us all. 3,000 more received the indwelling of the Ruach HaKodesh. Amazing. Rejoice with me. Thank you, Father. I need to share something with you all. In a night vision, there I stood. I watched in amazement 2 messengers hovering in the sky. In their hand was an inkhorn. They went forth sealing Yahuwah's people. Brothers and sisters, that night that vision took place was on Shavuot of 2020. This occurred right before the war seed was unleashed. There is no doubt in my mind Yahuwah will do another mighty wondrous wonder on Shavuot. For I am thus reminded.
And I looked, and saw a lamb standing on Mount Zion, and with him 144,000, having his father's name written upon their foreheads, for they are maidens. They are those following the Lamb, wherever he leads them on. They were redeemed from among men, being first fruits to Elohim and to the Lamb.
144,000, the first fruits, brothers and sisters. Tribulation could not start until after they were sealed. I strongly believe we were sealed on Shavuot of 2020. 144,000 genome. 2 strands, not the triple helix. I cover this right there. On the flip side, in the same season, my son was awoken to a messenger in his room. He was shown 2 high-tech things that came out of his walls. One went upstairs, while the other went in the other direction in the house. He went to get up, saying I got to see where these were going. The messenger said, no, it is not meant for you to see where they go, only to see. Listen to me, we have been told. Because you have kept my command to persevere, I have kept you from the hour of trial that has come upon the earth. Tick, tock, tick, tock. That hour is fast approaching. Yahuwah will allow the hammer to fall. What descends out of the abyss will be demonic locust, given permission to torment all those who do not have Yahuwah's seal. Their rampage will last 5 months of pure terror. The pain will be so excruciating, many will seek death. But boom, death will flee from them. Sadly, we will have family and friends go through this. Time to wake the heck up, Yasharel. The tares are being separated from the wheat. Get your heads out of the sand. This is not a vax, but a weapon being paid and backed by the CIA. Trust me, I know firsthand what I'm talking about here. I know people, and I have sources, but I don't say much about them. But trust me on this. Better yet, trust the Ruach. As the wave of chaos covers the earth, I believe Yahushua will sheaf wave his first fruits by gathering the woman from the four corners, whisking her away to the wilderness. So, now that we know 1,290 days takes us to the start of the Omer count, what about the 1,335 days? Baruch is he that waits, right? I know you all got ants in your pants for what I am about to reveal to you, as you all sitting on the edge of your seats. Here in a jiffy, you all going to drop to your knees. We know there are 45 days between 1,290 days and 1,335 days, and Baruch is he who awaits and comes to 1,335 days. This is incredible. I'm so excited to show you this. Brothers and sisters, behold. Boom. 1,335 days from the time the daily sacrifice was abolished, and the abomination that causes desolation was set up, takes us to June 11th, 2024, brothers and sisters, ding. Ding. Ding, that is Shavuot. Wow. Are you seeing this? Praise be to the Most High. This is astonishing. Rejoice with me. His timing is perfect. Thank you, Father, for revealing this to us. I pray that this will encourage each of you. I'm wondering if this supernatural snatching away to the wilderness will occur during the entire Omer count. For this reason, Baruch is he who waits, and reaches the 1,335 days. As the woman is being gathered, there will be extreme pressure on all to submit to the beast system. For many who have insight will be tested. But as for you, you are not in darkness so that day should overtake you like a thief. Rejoice with me. For, only by his mercy and kindness can we now put these pieces of this puzzle together. We are able to fully connect the dots. Now is the time to get right with Yahuwah, for you have been warned. There is no doubt in my mind, we are in the season, my beloved. Now hold up. Wait a minute. Let me express, we will not, I repeat, we will not be raptured up to heaven. On the contrary, we will remain in it. 2/3 of the world's population is going to perish during tribulation. Do you know how many bodies that will be dropping dead? This is an unimaginable terror. Many will not be prepared to see the horror of that many corpses piling up. From the hospital hallways to schools' auditoriums. Bodies even lying in the city streets. That many people dropping dead, there will be no time for proper burials. The wealthy might get cardboard coffins, while the useless seaters will just be scooped together, thrown into trenches. World's population is a little over 8 billion. 2/3 of 8 billion is 5.6. According to the global charts, more than 5.55 or 72.3% of the world's population have been bitten. 1/3 will die from the plague of being bitten. Once the sixth messenger sounds, 4 messengers are released from the great river Euphrates. They have been prepared for the hour, and day, and month, and year to kill a third of mankind that remains alive at the sixth trumpet. That war is brewing. So we got 1/3 will be killed by the plague, and another third through war. The trampling of both the set-apart place, and the host, which is the human body, will last for a total of 2,300 days. The sanctuary shall be cleansed at the end of the 2,300 days. 42 months or 1,290 days midway. Knowing the midway timeline is very important, as that is when the woman is taken to her place. And we know this is midway because it has been written. See, she is there for a time, times, and half time, which is the remainder of this earth age. She is there, away from the serpent. Do you understand what I am saying, my beloved? If so, rejoice with me. Right now, leave a comment down there, telling me you are rejoicing with me. Be a witness to the truth and leave a comment. 42 months is the last half of the cleansing of the sanctuary. See, my beloved, we are not raptured out of earth, being whisked away to heaven. Oh no. On the contrary, we remain here in the wilderness, being spared that hour of trial. As the rest of the inhabitants of the earth are living through the wrath of Yahuwah, the woman is protected. Just like the early Asherites were protected in Goshen, they were spared from the plagues of Egypt. Once we are removed from the presence of the serpent, the restrainer will be removed. Then all hell breaks loose. This is when the two witnesses will begin their ministry. Who they are at this moment, I'm not going to get into that in this presentation, but rather will share this. Their dead bodies will remain in the streets for 3.5 days. A day for a year, folks. Those 3.5 days, brothers and sisters, I believe is 3.5 years. The same time the woman is in the wilderness. The same time of Jacob's trouble. The great tribulation. The remainder of the sanctuary being cleansed. The last 42 months. O my beloved, the dragon will be enraged with the woman. Thus, goes to make war with her remnant. The assembly of Smyrna is part of this remnant. They will be tested to death. Some will falter, and cave in under such extreme pressure. For this very reason, some who have insight, will fall so that they may be tried and purged, while others will remain faithful, even faced with death. They won't let death steal their crowns. They will come out of great tribulation. Those who have been bitten, will become wild, ravenous beasts. Hating the pure bloods. They will be turned into killing machines, purging the unjust. A global manhunt to seek, and destroy all those who have not been bitten. Those who were not taken to the wilderness, some will be Baruch with the Ruach of martyrdom. As the blood of these set-apart ones fill the streets, Yahuwah will unleash his fiery wrath upon the inhabitants of the world. Therefore, let me remind you to pray, that you be found worthy to escape all these things. That is the same hour that the assembly of Philadelphia is spared from. During this chaos, the woman will remain protected. Now listen up, the supernatural event of believers being whisked away to the wilderness, will cause a global uproar. Total terror and panic will overcome the masses. I believe this single event is the reason for years of predictive programming the populace to accept an alien invasion. Brothers and sisters, they have been writing this script for decades. William Cooper and many others have spoken out about this.
On the air in The War of the Worlds by H.G. Wells.
On October 31st, 1938, a radio broadcast was transmitted across the United States of America claiming that alien life forms from the planet Mars had invaded Earth, causing a widespread panic across the country, with angry mobs forming in the streets and reports of people taking their own lives after jumping off of buildings.
We have breaking news from downtown LA. We have several unconfirmed reports that several hundred people have vanished. Yes, that's right, have vanished throughout the city. Badged to all known locations.
Again, very little is known at this moment. Again, we interrupt this program with this breaking news story. The city is in something of a panic right now. We're getting news that massive traffic jams are everywhere. The unimaginable has happened. Hundreds, perhaps thousands of people have disappeared from the face of the earth.
Discussions privately with General Secretary Gorbachev. When you stop to think that we're all God's children, wherever we may live in the world, I couldn't help but say to him, just think how easy his task and mine might be in these meetings that we held. If suddenly there was a threat to this world from some other species, from another planet, outside in the universe, we'd forget all the little local differences that we have between our countries, and we would find out once and for all that we really are all human beings here on this earth together. Well, I don't suppose we can wait for some alien race to come down and threaten us, but I think that between us we can bring about that realization. In our obsession with antagonisms of the moment, we often forget how much unites all the members of humanity. Perhaps we need some outside universal threat to make us recognize this common bond. I occasionally think how quickly our differences worldwide would vanish if we were facing an alien threat from outside this world. I think maybe I'd answer it this way. I keep, in my frustration sometimes, you know, actually, if you count some of the things going on in smaller countries and all, there have been about 114 wars since World War II. But I've often wondered, what if all of us in the world discovered that we were threatened by a power from outer space, from another planet? Wouldn't we all of a sudden find that we didn't have any differences between us at all? We were all human beings, citizens of the world, and wouldn't we come together to fight that particular threat?
Wake up, sleepy house of Yasharel. Time to smell the roses. Do you get it now? I really hope so. Because the cat is out of the bag. The dots are practically touching, and some of you sadly still will not see this. This is why the pawns of Satan are releasing the secret files about the UFOs. They are psyching people up for this right here. Here, listen to this about those balloons.
When they recovered it and sent it to Wright-Patterson Air Force Base, July 7th is when they held the press conference and told the people it was a weather balloon, which the press bought hook, line, and sinker.
Hello? You cannot make this stuff up. They are laying this stuff on thick. Listen to this, please, for the love of Yahuwah, take heed to what is really being said here.
At least 90% of them are hostile. And when I say hostile, if not hostile, they have a completely different set of morals than we do. Okay.
No doubt this man's morals are different, as Yahushua is the Torah that was made flesh. But according to him, 90% of aliens are hostile. No, really. You think? I just laugh at this. When Yahushua returns, at the seventh trumpet, those who remain will fight against him. The world will unite as they will believe this is the aliens returning to take more people. Brainwashing the masses to believe in aliens. These demons are very good at manipulation. When we are removed to the single place of safety, this will be a life-changing event, leaving those bitten, desperate for answers. Many Bible-believing people are going to be terrified. Wait. No, this can't be happening. Because Mr. Ear-tickling pastor told me it won't be this way. This is not how it is going down. Wake up. You all. You've been duped. You've been taken to the cleaners and left to dry. I am telling you again, something so horrific, so evil, so ruthless and chaotic is about to be unleashed upon the wheat. Scriptures refer to this time as the worst time throughout all of history. There won't ever be a time like it ever again. It will be so bad that Yahuwah will have to shorten the days, if not no flesh will survive. Those who have partook of the forbidden fruit are going to change.
And the light of a lamp shall not shine in you any more, at all. And the voice of bridegroom and bride shall not be heard in you any more, at all. For your merchants were the great ones of the earth, for by your drug sorcery all the nations were led astray.
The light represents the presence of the Ruach HaKodesh. It's like their conscience has been removed. Their flame has been put out.
Nobody's gonna know.
Every system can be happy.
Nobody's gonna know. They're gonna know.
Every system can be happy. Every system can be happy.
How would they know?
You are just going to have to love them, but be mindful of all things I have shared with you today. Listen, you also do not want to be like Lot's wife. Why did she look back? To see the destruction? Nay. I truly believe she looked back because she had 2 other married daughters and son-in-laws that stayed. Do not be like her, my beloved. The line has to be drawn in the sand. I repeat, do not let anyone take your crown. There is no doubt in my mind that the final countdown has indeed started to take us to the wilderness. This first half will have 2 leap years, meaning 2 pregnant years. The year 2020 and the year 2024. This is why I believe there is the difference in 1,260 days to 1,335 days, which is followed by the Great Tribulation as being 1,260 days. The clock is ticking, coming to a rapid closing of this earth age. Look, once they go digital, that is it. To buy or sell, a person will have to be up to date on all forbidden fruit. That is the only way to get the digital certificate. Having that code will allow the test to be a member of society. They will be able to buy and sell. I've already seen videos in Uganda. The only way they can get water is to scan their QR code. The only way to get the code is to be up to date on the forbidden fruit. I'm not a nickel and dime, wishy-washy, lukewarm hellbound servant of Satan here to just tickle your ears. No, not today and not on my clock. So many are tickling the sheep's ears on this. I would rather be wrong and save some people from being bitten than to be right remaining quiet, watching people get bit. Now more than ever, repent, turn away from all your crookedness, whoring, lusting, rebellion, etc. There is still time. Blow the shofar. Bear witness to the nations. All who are thirsty come, drink from the fountain of living water, Yahushua. He is the only one that can make atonement for your sins. As always, I love you all very much. Soon, we will be together in the wilderness. Stand firm, I want to see you there. Be Baruch.